Okay, we're out and about again, and I'm at Knockbreda Cemetery in Belfast, just in the outskirts of Belfast. Lovely location, big church in the background there, super views. Not as good as normal because it's a typical summer's evening in Northern Ireland and it's raining. However, we'll not worry about that too much. So I was walking through this cemetery and I saw this headstone, and it's in relation to Walter N, and that stands for Napier. Walter Napier Element, the 8th Kings Liverpool Regiment, who departed this life 21st of February 1921, aged 31 years old, from illnesses contracted in the World's Great War 1914-1918. So that got my curiosity going. So I went back home and looked up the Commonwealth War Graves site to see if this fellow was recorded, and no, he wasn't. So he's not actually recorded as a World War I casualty. So do subscribe, folks, because I'm going to be trying to contact Commonwealth War Graves and getting this man, this hero, recognised as a World War I casualty, because the more I've looked into him, the more this gentleman deserves recognition in the Commonwealth War Graves site online. Now, there are other World War I headstones here, and it is a matter of personal choice whether or not a family decided to go for that or not, but this fellow wasn't offered the opportunity by the looks of it, as he isn't recorded with them. So we'll give you a wee bit of history about Walter. He was born in 1889, 31st January 1889 in Belfast. He had 6 brothers, 4 sisters and 2 other brothers. He was actually the eldest child of Walter. That was the name of his father as well, Walter Francis. Now, Walter Senior, he was in the 1st Scottish Rifles whenever he married Agnes Napier. So that's where the Napier came in the middle of Walter's name, Walter Napier Element. So born in 1889, lived in Belfast. In 1907, he started to try and join the army. He was a general labourer and tried to join the army. He actually tried to join the Irish Guards, but for whatever reason, he was discharged after 1 month in 1907, not meeting the standards. In 1908 then, he tried to reapply again to join the army. This time he tried to join the Royal Marine Artillery, and unfortunately he must have told a few fibs about trying to join the Irish Guards and being refused, because he was dismissed from the Royal Marine Artillery after a month, because it stated on his record that he did not mention his attempt to join the Irish Guards, and they refused him. However, 1912 was the Home Rule crisis, and Walter actually didn't sign the Ulster Covenant, so he seems quite a broad-minded fellow. And in the 1911 census, even though he came from Belfast, from an army family, he actually put down in his census return that he could speak English and Irish. So he didn't sign the Ulster Covenant, but his father and his mother did. The war broke out in 1914, and Walter joined up January 1915. His father, he was 60 years old at the time actually, he joined up as well, but his service was all home service in Belfast, so his father didn't serve overseas. But Walter joined up January 1915 and remained at home until February 1917. That's quite a long time to remain at home, so perhaps there was some reason, and whenever he tried to join the Irish Guards and the Royal Marine Artillery, that maybe this wasn't fit. So he stayed at home service for a considerable length of time, almost 2 years. But then he was sent over to Europe, Western Front, and he was in the Western Front for 2 months, and he was posted immediately to the Ypres salient, which Ypres is synonymous with shell fire, horrible conditions, very similar to the Battle of the Somme and how that's been remembered. So Ypres, certainly a horrible place to be posted to. And from the minute he joined his fellow colleagues in Ypres, he was subjected to shell fire, continual casualty rates. Now, the story is that whenever he was over in Ypres, a shell exploded close to his head, suffering severe injuries from which he never really recovered from, and it's actually recorded in his service file that he was admitted to a lunatic asylum on return to the UK. Now, he was discharged officially from the army in 1919 and then went to Purdysburn Psychiatric Hospital, as it's called now. However, at the time it was just called a lunatic asylum. Sadly, Walter then died on the 21st of February 1921, still committed in the lunatic asylum. So never recovered from the shell fire, never recovered from his injuries, and sadly he succumbed just as much a casualty of war as any individual who was killed actually during the war years of 1914-1918. So we're going to contact the Commonwealth War Graves. We're going to try and get this man's name entered onto their site as a World War I casualty. So I'll keep you posted, folks, on how that goes. It might be a long time, but we'll certainly work on trying to get Walter Napier Element recognised as a World War I casualty. So I'll keep you posted, folks. Do subscribe. Do walk around your cemeteries at home. It's amazing what you can actually find, and you never know, you might find a few of these fellows. It's not that the Commonwealth War Graves deliberately omitted them, I have no doubt, but some people have slipped through the net, and I believe this is one of them. So don't forget, folks, do subscribe. Speak to you soon.